GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Our first look is at the City Council's bold plan to revitalize downtown, a move that could reshape Montreal's economic future.
Antin Dion Charest was formally nominated yesterday as the Quebec Liberal candidate for the Verdun riding. The 37-year-old, son of former Premier Jean Charest, secured the endorsement after a contested meeting that also featured Charles Milliard, who had sought the nomination. Party officials confirmed that Dion Charest will represent the Liberals in the upcoming provincial election, which is set for later this year. The selection follows a broader push by the party to refresh its slate in Montreal's East End. Verdun has been a Liberal-leaning constituency for several elections, and the party hopes Dion Charest can maintain that edge. Local Liberal organizers said the choice reflects both the candidate's family legacy and his own community work in Verdun. Voters in the riding will now have a clear Liberal option as the campaign season intensifies.
Montreal is committing $25.1 million to the Islet Angus project in Rosemont-la-Petite-Patrie, creating 350 new affordable apartments. The investment, announced today, adds to a citywide push to expand affordable housing options across the island. Officials say the funds will cover construction and related costs, delivering modern units aimed at families and low-income renters. The development sits on the former industrial site in the heart of the neighborhood, where the city plans to blend residential space with green areas and community amenities. City leaders highlight the project as a concrete step toward meeting rising demand for affordable homes in the neighborhood. With several other housing initiatives underway, the Islet Angus complex is expected to open its doors within the next few years, increasing the supply of accessible housing for residents.
Victoire announced today that it has added 6 newcomers from the 2026 Professional Women's Hockey League draft, using its final selection to strengthen the squad ahead of the upcoming campaign. Among the fresh faces is Finnish forward Petra Nieminen, who joins a roster that already includes returning star Abby Roque. The team confirmed a 2-year extension for Roque, securing her services through the 2028 season. General manager statements highlighted the balance between veteran leadership and youthful talent as the club prepares for its first home game at Place Bell next month. Fans can look forward to seeing the new draftees integrate during preseason training camps, with the coaching staff emphasizing depth and speed on the wing. The moves come as Victoire aims to defend its Walter Cup title while building a competitive lineup for the future.
Canadian canoeist Elizabeth Desrosiers MacArthur is set to make her World Cup debut this July, when Montreal hosts the international competition. The 24-year-old earned her spot after strong national circuit results, and she will line up in the sprint events at the city's waterfront venue. The Montreal World Cup is a key stop on the International Canoe Federation's calendar, drawing elite paddlers from more than 20 nations and influencing rankings ahead of next year's World Championships. Organizers say the 3-day meet will showcase Canada's growing talent in canoe sprint and bring visitors to the waterfront park. Desrosiers MacArthur expressed excitement about racing on home water, noting the support of local fans will be a boost. City officials anticipate the event will highlight Montreal's waterways and contribute to the summer tourism season. The competition will run over a weekend in early July, with medal ceremonies planned for the final afternoon.
The Samuel de Champlain Bridge will be completely closed to traffic this weekend, forcing drivers to seek alternate routes across the St. Lawrence River. Authorities announced that all lanes on the bridge will be shut from Friday morning through Sunday night as crews perform critical maintenance. The structure, which carries the primary commuter flow between the island and the South Shore, sees roughly 24,000 vehicles each day, making the diversion a significant disruption. Motorists are being directed to use the Jacques Cartier Bridge, the Champlain Bridge's sister crossing, and the nearby Isle aux Tourtes Bridge where possible. Public transit agencies have increased service on the REM and commuter rail lines to accommodate displaced commuters. Officials warn that travel times could increase by up to 30 minutes during the closure. The closure is expected to affect both personal and commercial traffic, with freight trucks also seeking alternate corridors.
Later we'll hear Mayor Ferrada confirm Notre Dame East Camp's stay on for the Cycling World Championships, a boost for athletes. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the break. Up next, Rachel Reed brings you the latest local stories we've been tracking this week.
Mayor Valérie Ferrada confirmed Tuesday that the temporary shelters set up on Notre Dame East will remain in place, despite the street's inclusion in the upcoming UCI Road World Championships course. The decision comes as organizers map a race route that will thread through the eastern stretch of the historic boulevard during the June 18th competition. Ferrada emphasized that the camps provide essential services for residents and that their removal would disrupt ongoing community programs. The Union Cycliste Internationale has acknowledged the city's stance, noting that the course will be adjusted to accommodate the structures without compromising athlete safety. Officials say the arrangement allows spectators easy access while preserving the neighborhood's daily rhythm throughout the championship weekend. The competition is expected to attract international attention, positioning the city's streets on a global stage.
Starting June 18th, Quebec will give priority to families who live and work permanently in the province for subsidized daycare spaces, moving them ahead of asylum seekers. The adjustment follows a recent decision by the province's highest court that reshaped eligibility rules for the publicly funded childcare system. Quebec's Families Minister announced that the new policy aims to ensure that permanent residents receive the first allocation of spots, reflecting the court's interpretation of provincial jurisdiction over social services. As a result, asylum seekers applying for daycare will be placed lower on the waiting list and may face longer delays before securing a place. The government says the change aligns with the legal framework and will be applied across all publicly funded centers in the province. The move comes as families across the province watch daycare waitlists stretch, making access to early education a pressing concern for working parents.
The province's transport ministry confirmed on June 18th that the planned 400-kilometer highway extension along the lower North Shore is being cancelled. Transport Minister Benoit Charette announced the decision, ending a project that had been billed as a lifeline for the isolated coastal communities. The proposed route would have linked the lower North Shore to the main Quebec road network, promising easier access to goods, health services, and employment opportunities. Officials said the cancellation reflects a reassessment of priorities and cost considerations, though they did not detail alternative solutions. Residents who had anticipated year-round road travel now face continued reliance on ferry and air connections. Local merchants worry the cancellation will curb expected growth in tourism and supply chains. The move closes a chapter on a decades-long discussion about integrating the remote region with the rest of the province.
An earthquake measuring 4.5 on the Richter scale struck eastern Quebec early Tuesday, shaking homes and businesses from Basse-Saint Laurent to the Gaspésie Peninsula and the Côte-Nord. The tremor was felt across the region, prompting a brief pause in traffic and causing some ceiling tiles to loosen in older buildings. While the area is accustomed to low-level seismic activity, a quake of this size is uncommon and has residents checking their foundations. Emergency services reported no immediate injuries, but officials are monitoring for aftershocks and advising people to stay alert. Power companies reported brief interruptions in several neighborhoods, and public transit temporarily halted on a few routes while crews inspected tracks. Authorities will continue to assess any structural damage as the community recovers.
Emma and Noah have emerged as the leading first names for newborns across the province this year, according to Quebec's annual baby name ranking. The government agency responsible for civil registration released its latest list, showing that both names topped the chart for the first time in the 2025 cycle. Analysts note that the popularity of classic gender-balanced names often reflects broader cultural trends, and the repeat appearance of Emma and Noah suggests a steady preference among new parents. For comparison, the 2021 report highlighted a different set of favorites, underscoring how naming fashions can shift within just a few years. The data, gathered from birth certificates filed throughout the province, offers a snapshot of how families are choosing to identify the next generation, a small but telling piece of everyday life in Quebec.
Now let's turn to the weather team for a look at tonight's conditions across the island.
Tonight's weather snapshot invites you to plan tomorrow, whether you're heading out or staying cozy indoors. On this day, Montreal's record high reached 33.3 degrees Celsius back in 2020, a sweltering climax of the historic heat wave that pushed much of southern Canada into triple-digit feels. The record low stands at 9 degrees Celsius, set in 2013 when an Arctic blast slipped south and left the city shivering under icy winds. By contrast, the climate normals for mid-June hover around 22 degrees high and 15 low, reminding us how today's mild swing feels typical. Right now, the sky is overcast and the temperature sits at 18 degrees with humidity near 90%. A gentle breeze from the west pushes at 13 kilometers per hour, keeping the air calm. Looking ahead, tomorrow's high will climb to 20 degrees while the low will dip to 15 after sunrise. The UV index remains modest at 3, so sun protection isn't a priority. Wind will strengthen this evening, gusting up to 34 kilometers per hour from the south, giving a noticeable chill on exposed skin. There are no precipitation chances on the docket, and no weather alerts are active. Overall, conditions stay comfortably mild, perfect for a late-night stroll or an early morning jog. Up next, let's glance at the 5-day outlook. Starting Friday, clouds will linger and temperatures hold at a high of 20 degrees with a low of 14, and there's a 40% chance of rain. Saturday mirrors Friday, keeping the high at 20 and the low at 14 while the rain probability stays at 40%. Sunday nudges a degree warmer to 21, the low climbs to 15, and the odds of rain rise to 60%, so keep an umbrella handy. Monday continues the warm trend with a high of 22 and a low of 16, and a 45% rain chance adds a splash of moisture. Tuesday finally clears, offering a bright sky, a high of 23, a low of 15, and only 25% chance of a stray shower. Enjoy the mix of clouds and sunshine as the week unfolds.
Traffic is easing downtown. Today's arts lineup shines, and our hockey season heats up, plus a spotlight on the chamber. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
A quieter sports board today, with no fresh local team update from RSS. The Canadiens made NHL award history when captain Nick Suzuki claimed the Frank J. Selk Trophy and teammate Cole Caulfield was awarded the Lady Byng Trophy, both on the same day. According to CBC Sports NHL, the NHL confirmed both honors simultaneously, a rare double for any franchise. More good news out of the Canadiens organization, prospect Bryce Pickford has been named CHL Defenseman of the Year. Sportsnet reports the honor signals promising depth in Montreal's defensive pipeline, a name Habs fans will want to remember. On the women's side, the PWHL has released the selection order for its 2026 draft, set to take place in 2 days. Sportsnet reports the announcement gives teams and fans a clearer picture of how draft day will unfold.
On Rue St. Laurent, just steps from the historic Old Port, a group of Montreal's longtime business partners gathered beneath the glass canopy of a repurposed office tower. They are the faces behind the city's newest push to host the Defense, Security and Resilience Bank, a project that could anchor a whole new sector of high-tech jobs. In the early morning light, senior executives from a family-run manufacturing firm, a fintech startup, and the downtown Chamber of Commerce exchanged firm handshakes over steaming mugs of locally roasted coffee, each holding a glossy render of the proposed headquarters. The plan reimagines the vacant lower floors as an open-plan hub, with a rooftop garden that will bloom with lavender and rosemary, a reminder that security and sustainability can grow side by side. What makes the moment special is the collective belief that this single building can keep Montreal competitive on a global stage, turning a vacant space into a beacon of collaboration. As the sun climbs over Mount Royal, the city's leaders walk away confident that together they are shaping a resilient future for all Montrealers.
On St. Laurent Boulevard, just beyond the bustling café terraces, the Office Québécois de la Langue Française set up a modest wooden table, its bright orange sign inviting passersby to share a quick note. A handful of volunteers, students from a nearby francophone college, a retired teacher, and a local bakery owner handed out simple forms, asking people to record any sign, advertisement, or business communication that seemed to sidestep the province's language rules. In the afternoon, a mother paused beside a new boutique window, pointing out a bilingual flyer that listed the English slogan before the French. A teenager from the corner skate park tapped his phone, snapping a picture of a bus stop poster that used an English-only tagline. By sunset, the stack of completed forms resembled a small tower, each slip a quiet testament to a community watching over its linguistic heritage. When the office released its annual report, it noted a record-high volume of complaints, a sign perhaps that more Montrealians are not only aware of the language law but also feel a shared responsibility to uphold it. That collective vigilance, expressed in everyday gestures, turns a regulatory mandate into a living conversation about identity. It's reassuring to see a city rally around its language with such everyday, caring participation.
Thanks, Montreal, for joining us on the wrap. Tonight's highlight was the Samuel de Champlain Bridge closure, a reminder of our city's resilience. Stay tuned tomorrow for fresh headlines and deeper insight. I'm Peter Miller, and I look forward to seeing you again. We'll bring you the latest on politics, sport, and community stories.